Hi Art Club, Michelle here. Last night I was feeling like I needed to get some art out of me. I decided I wanted to try to draw a facial expression of sadness. So here I am in Photoshop and I sped this video up so that you guys can follow along and it won't take the hours that it actually took to draw. So I just started out by grabbing this photo of this lovely man from Pinterest. I don't know who you are. If you happen to see this one day, I could get your portrait for you if you like it. I think your crying face is superb, sir. Anyway, so I first started out by just sketching a rough outline of his face, and then I grabbed a base skin tone of his so that I could just lay that out. Now, let me just say, this is a cartoonish kind of version, so I wasn't going for a realistic replica, like a realism kind of a portrait. I was doing a sort of a caricature style of portrait. So here I am trying to get the features in the right placement. I wanted to raise the nose, raise the lips a bit, tilt the eye. So once I felt okay with where everything was placed, I started to lay down some shadows. Now it looks kind of ugly at this point, but the cool thing about Photoshop is that you can, oh, look at all those dots I made on his forehead. The cool thing about Photoshop is you can blur them. See, I just blurred out those shadows using layers. So on the right, you can see where it says layer 2, layer 1, and then background. So as the video progresses, you're going to see more and more layers appear because some layers I want to blur and some layers I don't blur. So here I'm just putting some color, adding some red, some lighter tones in the hair. With Photoshop, the secret really is layering. That's what makes it so, that's what can make a drawing rich and look realistic. And even where I ended this drawing, I could have kept going because there's always more depth that you can add. Gotta get them nostrils right. Okay, so now my favorite part, where I get to start putting out some lighter tones, blur them out. I love adding the sharp lines at the end. See, now he's very blurry, but you're gonna see as I go that I start to lay out more and more defined lines, I guess. Getting a little more definition around his eyes. So when you want to draw an emotion, we have something called, I think it's called micro expressions. And they're the tiniest little muscle movements in a face that we've all grown accustomed to recognizing. So if you look at the photo on the right, you see this man's forehead. He's obviously been crying. So in his forehead, you see all these little dimple spots. Like, that's something you don't really think about when you think about someone crying, but like if you want to draw an image of someone crying, then it's important to pay attention to all those little tiny muscle changes that happen. So here I'm defining the pupils, adding some eyelashes and eyebrows. Now it's starting to look a little bit better, more like cartoon, the way I wanted. I know I exaggerated his jawline a little. It's a little wide, but I kind of liked that. So adding more of those, the shadowy spots that show the emotion. Well, not here. I mean, like on the forehead, I added a little bit more. Oh, now it gets really fun. You start to add the light spots and where the tear has come down. It's still wet, so we see a big shine there. Adding more tones in the hair. See, now I have 6 layers. Well, 7 including the background. Just moved his eye a bit. So I actually finished this. That's why I signed it. Then the next morning I got up and I was like, ugh, I think it really needs the texture. So I was trying to figure out how to add texture. Like, that's not gonna work. So I decided to go in by hand and just add the texture, which actually ended up being a really fun thing to do. I thought it was gonna be just tedious and boring, but it was really fun. It kind of also makes it look more like a drawing, which I like. I love doing portraits that are not exact, more portraits that are just exaggerated, because you have so much more freedom to play with the features and you make it your own, you know? So just adding all the light texture, just so it actually looks like skin. So I guess there's a truck outside, if you can hear that. Now adding some darker. Now the neck really transforms here when you put the shadows in. Smudge it out, add more shadow, texture. I think the texture should have been smaller, actually, but I did not want to take the time. Just adding some texture on his shirt, which also really makes it look like a drawing, like that. So then I went in and I made a copy of all the layers and made a new layer at the top, see layer 8. So now on layer 8, everything is there in one layer. So I am using the darkening and lightening tool. I can't remember what it's called. It's that little thing that looks like a lollipop. And I just lightened and darkened parts. And now I'm adding my favorite part, the hair detail. Just gotta go in there. I love what this does. Like these little hairs in front. Gives it so much more, you know? Just checking it over. I'm pretty happy with it. So there, that's my best attempt at drawing a crying face. And I tried to get the emotion into the forehead there. So I'll get my little hand. Bye! Like and subscribe and click the bell icon if you want to see more videos like this one from the Art Club. Thanks!